Hello, it's Ewe Knot Alicia here, and welcome back to my channel. This is Tutorial Tuesday. I received a comment asking if I can show you guys how to pick up drop stitches. So in knitting, if you're not paying attention or if your stitches are too close to the end of the needle, it's easy for you to drop stitches. I have drop stitches sometimes, you know, beginners have drop stitches. Anybody is bound to get drop stitches. It's all in how you hold your needle and your yarn. If this hat looks familiar to you, this is the hat that I've been working on in my Flashback Friday videos. This is the progress that I have so far. I've told you in my previous video too that I want to make this a slouchy hat, so I'm continuing this hat until I feel it is slouchy enough. This is the amount of yarn that I have left. And so hopefully within maybe another 20 rounds or so will be enough slouch for me to complete this hat, and then I can start decreasing. So these purple needle, or I'll say stitch blockers, is here, obviously it's in the name, to block the stitches from falling off my needles. So all I'm going to do is remove these, and I'm going to knit a few stitches, and then I'm going to purposely drop a stitch. And in my previous tutorial video, I've showed you all how to knit in the round, so please check that video out, and the links are in the description box below. So I'm just knitting, knitting, knitting. Oops, I dropped a stitch. And you can follow that stitch out right here. It'll poke out. And what I recommend doing is taking a stitch marker, one that opens and closes, and putting it there so that you can save that stitch so it's not continuously dropping down your work. What I'm going to do is go around and then come back to it so I can show you how to do it. I can actually pick it up from here, but just in case, you know, you're knitting, and then you start seeing a run and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that I dropped a stitch. I want to show you how to pick that up whenever you're caught off guard that you dropped a stitch. So all I'm doing now is just knitting across, and with this teal colored stitch marker means I'm coming up to my end of the round, so that just lets me know that I'm starting a new round once I slip this marker. Do you see how pretty and vibrant these colors are? I cannot wait to finish this hat. I should have got a second ball, because then I could have made a scarf or a cowl to go with it, but I decided to get this yarn, and then I got another Malabrigo yarn, but a different color, and I showed you all this in my Flashback Friday videos. But now while I'm working this yarn up, I feel like I should have got two balls. So that could be a lesson learned for me, that if this a skein of yarn that I really like the colors, then it's safe to just get two balls. It's better safe than sorry. And in being safe, it's better to just get two balls than versus one. And then you're like, man, if I try to get another one, they're not going to have the same dye lot, or they may not have the yarn anymore. So I'm just working this hat around and waiting until I get to my drop stitch. So I've put out some videos for my Flashback Friday videos and some other recent tutorial videos. I want to thank you all for being patient with me. I know I've said in the past that I'm going to do 2 videos a week due to work and prior engagements dealing with my brother. I wasn't able to do so. So that's why I'm pushing out a lot of videos to make up for it. So hopefully these are all beneficial to you. And continue to comment on what tutorial videos you want me to do, so that I can cater to your need. And let me know if you do crochet or if you do knit, so I can kind of get a feel of what type of video to do. Should I do more knitting videos, or should I do more crocheting videos? I'm almost there. I'm almost to my drop stitch, so please just bear with me. Okay, I see the orange. So my battery died, but here is what I was showing you. So if you look right here, this is the stitch that we picked up, right? You know what, to make it easier for you, I'm gonna just pick it up again. So here it is. I showed you all how to put the stitch marker in this stitch, because this is the drop stitch, right? So this is what we're working with. I'm just starting over from the top so that you have a better, clear understanding. So we came back around, and now I'm ready to work this stitch to get it back onto this ladder. Okay, so you see this little ladder right here? We need to work this stitch into these different stitches so that we can pick up our drop stitches. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the stitch marker and we're going to remove the stitch marker, and with the loop we're going to place that on our right hand needle, making sure, because you don't want to twist, making sure that you have an open area. So do you see how that's open? It's not twisted, it's not anything, it's legitimately open. Okay, open, I can put my finger through it. So I put that on my right hand needle. This is my right hand needle. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm looking at these ladders. So I want to grab this first stitch of the ladders. So that will be this one right here. All right, that will be this one right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that with my right hand needle, I'm gonna put my needle underneath that stitch. So what I should have is the drop stitch and that stitch I just picked up. On my left hand needle, I'm going to take the drop stitch and pull it over the stitch I just picked up. And I'm going to give my project a little tug so that it can so that the stitches can kind of work their way with the project to look more cleaner and nicer. Alright, so now I just did that one, but I still have these two to pick up. So I'm going to repeat the same thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right hand needle and I'm going to put it underneath the next stitch that I need to pick up. So now I have this drop stitch that we just worked, and then now this new stitch that we picked up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left hand needle and pull the drop stitch over the stitch I just picked up, or the strand of the ladder that I just picked up, and I'm giving my project a little pull so that the stitches can work themselves together. Now I have one more to do, and that's this right here. So I'm going to take my right hand needle, put it underneath that stitch or that strand. I'm going to take my left hand needle and I'm going to pull that drop stitch over the strand and work my project. So if you would look, my working yarn is coming from this second stitch, because even though we picked up these stitches, we didn't work in these stitches, we never knitted in these stitches, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your left hand needle and you're going to pull that stitch that you just picked up and pull it off of the right hand needle and onto your left hand needle. Alright, so this is the stitch, and then now you just work that stitch as normal, and you just continue knitting because you picked up your dropped stitch. And if you keep tugging on this, you can tighten up some of the holes, but essentially you've picked up your drop stitches and you won't be able to tell where it was. I am going to show you again how to pick up a dropped stitch.